You were having a fun time, you got a new car, and you weren't drunk even, you were just out joyriding. And you lose control of the car, and you kill an entire family in the car. A mother and her children. And then you realize, was he drunk? No. He was just out joyriding with his friends. And you and your friends are all okay because you were driving like a Suburban or a Yukon or something. Who knows? A tank. But then you arrive in the courthouse on the day of your reckoning. And who is the judge? None other than the father of the family that you killed. You're not going to be saying, am I good enough? Let me bring forth this character witness. Let me bring forth, my cousin who's going to tell you what a good person I am. That's not how judgment works. You are completely in the hands of the judge. And we are guilty of killing his one and only son. And furthermore, rejecting him. And then not just killing him, but killing his people. The Romans had oppressed the Christians to the point where they were murdering them. Not just lethal injection, torturous. And in our arrogance and in our ignorance, we think we can avoid and evade the judgment of God. Look at what the people say at the end here in chapter 6. They're like, verse 16, they called to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us. Like they're so afraid of God's judgment at this point that they want a mountain to fall on them. Like if I could get a whole mountain to fall on me right now, that's what I would prefer, rather than meet face to face God, the righteous God who has the power to judge and who is about to judge. Man, not even a mountain hiding you underneath could hide you from God's judgment. But the truth is, we don't want to live we get scary when we read about God's judgments. None of us wants to live in a world without judgment, where sin goes unpunished. That is not a world that anybody wants to live in. I thank God that God knows what to do with the soul of a person. The fact that God is a good God and he judges righteously, we give thanks for that. Like any Christian, any saint gives. And I think it's fairly safe to always take a humble position when it comes to talking about myself or anyone else in regards to God's judgment and what's going to happen. The humble stance says, I want to make sure that I have Jesus and his blood is covering over my sin. If your plan is to go to heaven being quote unquote good enough, I want to encourage you, abort that plan immediately. The only way to be found safe under God's mighty hand and under his judgment is to have the blood of Christ.